Hello, everyone, and welcome to Meet the Author event. I'm Gloria St. Germain, and we are so excited that we are launching The Power of Why. 27 musicians captured the lead. You're going to be meeting some of these international best-selling authors today, along with our lovely editors, Wendy Jones and Lisa McGrath, and I am so excited to get started. So Wendy and Lisa, if you don't mind just sharing a few words as our editors. Wendy, I'll start with you first.
Hi, well, I'm Wendy H Jones and I'm absolutely delighted to be here. I am the author of 27 books, or rather I'm the author of about 22, and the other 5 have my name inside them somewhere with a chapter. I'm also a publisher, an editor, and an author entrepreneur, which means I do everything around the business of writing and publishing. And it was an honor to be involved in this series, and a particular honor to be involved in this book. Phenomenal book, I have to say. I was in awe of all your chapters. I loved reading them. I cried, I laughed, I cheered with you, I lamented with you, and I was there every step of your journey. So well done, guys. It's an honor, a privilege to be involved with it, and I'm proud of every single one of you. So well done.
Thank you so much, Wendy. And if you didn't figure it out by now, she's from Scotland. All the way from Scotland.
Sorry, I forgot to say, everyone should know where I'm from.
Yeah, we can tell. So, Miss Lisa.
Hi, thank you. I'm just so pleased to be here. And I have to echo what Wendy has said. Being a part of the process has been a marvelous experience, because even though I'm not a musician, I know that music heals and it has the power to really move mountains. So it was a pleasure working on this book. Just like Wendy, I'm an author and an entrepreneur, an editor and a publisher. And one of the things that I'm so proud of is that I teach individuals how to write their power of why, how to uncover their personal stories, because these personal stories, they have the power, like I said, to move mountains. So thank you all for sharing your power of why and really taking the lead, because that's what you've done in this whole book series, is you're putting your fingerprint and your talent out into the world, and that is a gift. So once again, thank you for sharing your gift, and thank you, Gloria and Wendy. I enjoy and just treasure the opportunity to get a first peek at your stories before anyone else. Well, thank you.
That's right. You do get a first peek. And then you also fix all the little typos and little things that we don't think about when we're writing. And we really appreciate you both. So thank you so much. So let's meet some of the authors that are in The Power of Why. 27 musicians captured the lead. I'm going to ask everyone that's in our call today to introduce yourself, your name, of course, and where you're from, and just a little bit about, what was that emotion like? What was the journey like as you were sharing your why, and how did it make you feel? So I'm excited to hear from all of you. Caroline, let's start with you.
Well, good morning, and what an absolute joy to be here. I just cannot tell you how honored I am to be in this book. I enjoyed every moment of writing it, and it's such a privilege to share. So thank you, Gloria, for this opportunity. I'm Carolyn Quinn. I'm from Seattle, Washington. I've taught piano for many, many years, and it's what lights me up.
Yes.
I have a music therapy background. I've also taught music in schools, and I do a lot of things. I compose and arrange and perform and accompany, and music has been my life, my healer, and it's brought me great joy. As I wrote about why I captured the lead, I need to just let you know that I didn't capture the lead in the typical sense, in that I don't have my name in lights like some of you do, right? I talked about capturing the lead internally. For me, if you were to look at me, like all of us, we can appear to be very strong and very capable, but there is a weak side inside of us sometimes because of just because. Yeah. And it can threaten to take your joy away. Mm-hmm. So I have had to learn to really recognize those voices. And my chapter is called Amazing Annie or Inadequate Irene. And Amazing Annie is full of power, and she tries new adventures in her music, in her life. I'm now a real estate broker, so I'm trying out that along with piano teaching. But there's also a part of me that can spiral down pretty fast if I listen to those negative voices. So I have learned to make sure that Amazing Annie is capturing the lead. I have made sure by getting help and by taking care of myself and listening to inspirational music and praying and exercising and getting good rest, how important it is to keep looking for having a positive mental attitude. I wonder where I got that from. and then I can be the best I can be. I can be the best person, and I can be the best teacher. But for me, capturing the lead internally is what has made me successful externally. And I am very, very proud of all that I have accomplished. Definitely a work of grace.
Yes.
Didn't have easy beginnings, still have had some wrinkles that I've had to push through, still pushing through, just like everybody, right?
Thank you so much, Caroline. I'm really excited to share your chapter. It is amazing and it brings joy. So thank you. Miss Leanna.
Hi, I'm very humbled to be a part of this group. When I was a child, I got the European measles. My mother locked my sister and I in a room to prevent any effects that might leave on us. Well, I was deaf. It left me with impaired hearing. My eardrums popped, both of them. And in spite of that, I learned to love music. My mother would play the piano as a child, and I would touch the wood and I would feel it. And it was a good feeling. And so it was very humbling for me to write my story. I was born in Canada, my childhood in New Zealand, but I currently live in the USA in the state of Utah. So I've done a lot of traveling. And when I contemplated how I captured the lead, well, I'm a successful music teacher. I have a degree in composition. I did not get hearing aids until I was 38 years old.
Oh my.
And I was a music teacher. I became a music teacher at 14. And I feel that my love for music, knowing that I felt it, it was in my soul. And I pushed through, not even realizing as a teenager and a young adult that I was deaf. I learned to lip read on my own, and I sat in the front of the, I sat in the front of every classroom, and I pursued. And I always wore a smile because I didn't know exactly what was being said, but if I was smiling, somebody would look at me and I could lip read. So I am so humbled to have the experience of writing that story. I don't even realize my own family knows how I blossomed in spite of overcoming not being able to hear in those beginning years.
Wow.
Thank you for the opportunity, Glory.
Oh, thank you so much, Leanna. And when we really think about that, I mean, it's such a personal journey, isn't it? Like there's been so many revelations, and I've known some of you for many years. And as I read your chapter, I went, oh, I never knew that. So we've really kind of told our secrets. It's incredible. Thank you for sharing that. And Miss Pam.
Good morning. I'm Pam Turner, and I live in the mountains of North Georgia in the United States. And I have to say, when I first was asked to do this project, I was overwhelmed. I thought, capture the lead. What lead? What lead? And I was just overwhelmed. And I thought my story wasn't worth telling. But the more I thought about it, and even as I began writing, I thought, yeah, I've done some things. So it gave me a little bit more appreciation for myself, because I'm really hard on myself. And it also gave me a greater appreciation for the environment that I work in. when you're a creative person and you are not in a peaceful environment where you can bloom, I guess, a hostile environment will kill your creativity. It really will. So I'm very grateful that I get to work mostly at home. If I want to stop and have tea, I can do that. And I have to give my husband a shout out. He's so supportive of everything musical, students coming and going, multiple pianos in the house. You know, this summer I just purchased a new digital for just mainly for recording, but also to have a practice instrument on another level in the house. And so he's very good natured about going up if I need to be down, or going down if I need to be up, or whatever I need. He's supportive of that. But yeah, I'm very grateful for this project because it made me feel better about me, made me recognize my own achievements a little bit. And I'm not the greatest and brightest star in the musical world by any means. But I do appreciate that, and I think this book is amazing. I love everybody's story.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much, Pam. Thank you. And Pam is driving through the drive-through to get her tea. In case you didn't notice, she's in her car. So that's a dedicated musician author for you. Thank you. Let's go over to Frances.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Frances Balotino, and we live in Muskoka, Ontario, Canada. I'm the founder of Music for Young Children, which is now 41 years old. What was my experience like in thinking about capturing the lead? It helped me think about what happened at the time of writing Music for Young Children and how Music for Young Children has matured over the 41, soon to be 42 years.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to our daughter Olivia and her husband David now own Music for Young Children and are doing a good job even in these really challenging times of keeping it successful. The teachers are wonderful. When I think about the marvelous teachers, that really helps Music for Young Children capture the lead. And I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to write about this, and it really is a good idea to think about it. And thank you very much, Glory. Thanks to Wendy and Lisa as well.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Frances. I appreciate that. Miss Joanne Barker.
Hello, I'm Joanne Barker. I live in southwestern Ontario. I'm kind of the closest neighbor to Frances, but we're about 4 hours apart. I live quite near Toronto. One of the leads I captured in my life, and it was not just as a piano teacher, but as a lay preacher. And back then, I understood what it meant that the rich get to study the scriptures. It didn't mean the wealthy. It meant that you were rich in your soul because you got to do that. That's what this experience has left me feeling, this richness inside, that I got to take the time that someone said, stop and think, and take a time to think about your life and what's got you this far. So that's what I'm left with. I'm left with a real richness in my soul. And if you read my chapter, I'm also left with a really big question. And we'll leave it there.
Oh, yes. The suspense is killing me. Read the book to learn more. Thank you, Joanne. Suzanne Grier.
Hello, everyone. I'm Suzanne Grier, and I live in Minnetonka, Minnesota in the USA. And I took the lead with the guidance of incredible teachers and mentors. And one of those being our very own Glory St. Germain, who has really been a cheerleader and positive influence in my life, and very grateful to know her. And I believe in the power of what we do as musicians, artists, and teachers. We transform lives, and we are first responders, which I was inspired by my husband, who served as a firefighter for 17 years and in our community. And just as he would go rushing into burning structures and, save people and save animals and buildings and the like, we have the power to save human souls and human beings. Mm-hmm. And throughout history, this has been proven. I was also inspired by Karl Polnack's speech after the towers fell in New York. The first thing people did was to go out and sing "We Shall Overcome." So what we do is really, it's so powerful and so incredibly important to our society and to our world. So writing my story has empowered me to think through how I recovered and how my spirit and life has been transformed. So reflecting back through those experiences and being vulnerable, that I at one time was insecure, fearful, isolated. I battled the demons of drug and alcohol addiction. And the big thing that got me through all of that was the music, the teachers in my life. So I really believe that we are first responders to the human condition. And I'm very grateful to be here and to share that.
Your story, your chapter was very moving for me too, Suzanne. I've known Suzanne for a long time, and there was many things I never knew. So I want to thank you for just really opening up, because the reason that the power of why is here, why did I even go on this journey, was because of stories that will help other people. That's why we're writing our stories, is not to say, woo, look what I did. This is not a book of accomplishments. This is a book of power, of this is my journey. So thank you for sharing your personal story, Suzanne. Laurent.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Laurie, for inviting me to be an author in this book. This is my absolute first being an author in any books. So I'm a virgin, or was, not anymore in that sense. And so it was very interesting for me because I'm a concert pianist. As you can hear from the accent right now, as much as we can hear the Scottish accent, you probably have heard the French accent behind me. I'm not faking it. I'm from Paris, France. Originally, was born and raised in France. First prize from the Paris Conservatory, won many international piano competitions. So kind of very purist concert pianist you can think of. And after concertizing, I loved that life, but not as much. And I thought that teaching was another aspect of my life that I really enjoyed. When I received your book, I'll be very, very honest with you, Capture the Lead. I understood the point of it, but I thought I was like, I'm not capturing anything. I don't think that there's any lead. I'm leading anybody. I'm of a journey. It's a long, eternal journey. That's what I say in my article about how it's an infinite amount of doors you're going to open. And I thought of gearing it towards what happens to concert pianists and the pressure we're going through, and then putting that through what actually happens to students, because concert pianists played on big stages with thousands of people watching and CDs recording all that stuff. But in fact, on a different level for a young student, this is the exact same pressure they're going through. And that pressure is the pressure of the word perfection, which I think that word should be taken off from the dictionary. Absolutely. Perfectionism with perfectionism should be taken off, because the only thing it really does is creating an enormous amount of tension, because we're trying to achieve an ideal, which makes absolutely no sense. It's an ideal. Perfection is not a reality by any means. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm going in detail on my article about this. And I thought of explaining how I went through and how there are alternatives. And they are a much more, I would say, creative and a way of learning that's a lot more positive than using the word perfection, which actually just creates tension for everyone. Because how do you achieve perfection when actually perfection cannot be achieved?
Yeah.
So I will leave it to that. So read my article and you understand.
Thank you so much. From all the way from France.
Yes.
Paris. Yes, I've been to France, and I shopped at the shop that said Saint Germain on the outside, which of course is my last name. And then I bought a scarf and it said Saint Germain, and I bought a blouse and it said Saint Germain, and I went, I'm in heaven. I got my own little store here. This is amazing.
Well, actually, I asked them to do that just for you when you went
Oh,
there.
thank you.
Yes, Saint Germain on it.
Yes, it was wonderful. The Saint Germain store. Thank you.
I need to say that actually I've been in America for the past 20 plus years. So I'm actually originally from France, but yes, I still live in the US right now. Orlando, Florida, for people who wants to know.
Oh, nice. Thank you so much. All right, let's travel over to Miss Elizabeth.
Hi, Gloria, and hi, everybody. I just wanted to tell you thank you so much for inviting me to join you in writing this book. It's really an honor to be among such a group of humble and amazing artists. Even as I listen to you now, I'm really touched by these stories and your honesty and your humility and sharing. When I was writing about capturing the lead, I realized that the most important thing in my journey has been to follow my own path. And unlike Laurent, I did not have classical, the typical classical training to concertizing. And I really kind of had to bend the rules to get everywhere that I've gotten. And I just realized that it was so important to never give up, just persist. And this is something I feel very passionate about sharing with other creatives, because you can make great art and great music and great things if you just accept that your path is the path that you're supposed to be on.
Thank you, Elizabeth. You're making me cry now. Gee whiz.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Miss Julianne.
Hi, everyone. It's such an honor to be part of this amazing group. My name is Julianne Workington, and I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and I'm very lucky to live close to Glory St. Germain, and she's my sister friend.
Yes.
And I'm a composer and piano teacher. I've been a festival adjudicator. I love doing volunteer music therapy in hospitals, and basically music has been a huge healing influence in my life, and I was very much motivated to get involved in this book because I, after enduring a really rough childhood, there was leaders, and by that I mean teachers, in my life that made a very big difference. And I would say my life dramatically improved and took a turn when I started piano lessons, and when I found an emotional outlet with music. And I would really like to be that kind of leader in the future that makes a difference in children's lives and adults' lives. And I just feel like I want to take the lead and have taken the lead by encouraging and lifting up others. And the experience of writing just generally made me feel incredibly grateful, and also made me realize what a amazing platform all of us have to create ripples in this world. Like, even if we think we're a little tiny stone cast into a river, we never know where those ripples will go. And I know there's many people that I haven't even had the chance, for many reasons, to tell them how amazing just their example of living their truth has influenced me. And I'm really feeling very grateful for all of this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Julianne. Elise, please.
Hello, everyone. It's such an honor and delight to be here. And thank you, Glory and team, for challenging me. I am now living in Ojai, California, on the West Coast. And I spent half my life, I'm born in Miami, Florida, and then another half in Los Angeles, and just recently here in Ojai. And I wanted to say that just the experience of writing, first I saw the challenge and I almost didn't want to touch it, but I remembered there was something in the back of my mind. Someone had said, predicted, a fortune telling, someday you're going to write a book. And I remembered that, and I said, well, it's just a chapter. Let's explore this. But I was terrified, and I did it anyway. And as it was all unfolding and messy, I realized, well, this is just like, writing a composition or learning a new piece, and it's going to be messy, and I'll keep going. And I have a couple of people who can lay eyes on it, and I'm confident this will get done. And so I'm just so, overjoyed that it actually was accepted, and a delight now to share with friends and family and to be here. So that was a bit of the feeling the fear and doing it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I started going back and looking at it and playing with this, I realized, wow, what a magical journey it's been. What joy. I'm so grateful. And I also saw in myself a strength and resilience as I hear all of you speak about all of the challenges. And I do speak about, coming from a family that had some emotional dysfunction and challenges, and that my dear grandmothers had this foresight to sit me down on their laps and saw what a sensitive child I was, and to help me blossom with this gift. And I am so grateful, even as a performer. So I'm a performer, a teacher for over 35 years, mentor, recording artist, composer, accompanist, and now a sound healer. Just how grateful I am to be able to share this journey with everyone, and especially when I'm teaching babies, and to give that gift that my grandmothers gave to me, to have them sit on my lap, and give this to them and to the parents. Don't give up.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think sometimes and I liked your analogy there, because sometimes we have this massive project, and then if we just think, well, wait a minute, I did bake bread once. I do know how to put ingredients together. So just start with something that doesn't seem so overwhelming, and it just makes it easier to apply those thoughts to writing. So wonderful. Thank you. Miss Janet.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Janet Olson, and I'm originally from the Toronto area, but I currently live in the U.S. in Utah. I went back and forth with the invitation to write a chapter, or to write my story. It was something that I had actually suppressed for a long time, and I don't want to get emotional, because it was a hard chapter to read, to revisit things that I hadn't thought about in many, many years, and something that I had never shared, really. I think there were a lot of things in it that my husband didn't even realize. So my chapter is basically about inner strength. And there are people in the world that, for one reason or another, don't want to see others succeed. And my experience was that. And, music, and others have talked about this, is such a healing thing, a healing force. And my story, no matter how many times I got pushed down, that music just kept calling for me. And I made the decision that it didn't matter what anybody said. I just couldn't get away from those feelings and be able to share that with others. So you'll have to read my chapter and see why I'm so emotional even now, participating and being here with all of you. But I want to thank Glory, because this was something I had told myself I would never share. It was just my own personal road, and I hope it helps someone, because it has been quite the journey for me.
Thank you, Janet. And first of all, just love to all of you. Sharing sometimes something that is so personal, and it's difficult for us sometimes to release. And those insides, if we just talk about them and share that, and what drives us to continue, and our why, as you shared so passionately, I know it's going to help a lot of people. And, I heard from some of the other people who are authors in the book as well, who, got their books already and shared with me like, wow, like I know now that I can do this because I've read chapters like Janet. And if she could do it, well, why can't I do it? What's holding me back? So thank you for sharing that. I really, really am grateful, Janet. Mark?
My name is Mark Fonchman, and I live in the Washington, D.C. suburbs in the U.S., in Maryland. And since I'm one of those people that we all know and love who can wander and not be very succinct, I thought the best way for me to share is just to read part of my chapter. So I wanted to read the last part for you. Because I was one of those musicians who said, I will never teach. And how I ended up there is you get to read in the chapter. I'll leave that as a teaser. But so I'll just finish here. Finding my niche as a teacher has been a journey. Initially, I wanted to be a sought-after world-class teacher, just like some of my teachers were. I continued my training and started a DMA program. In the middle of my first year, I realized that I didn't want to teach in a university, so I dropped out after that year. I had learned some important lessons about my personal limitations and had a chance to explore career options that were not right for me. But the more important questions lingered. Why do I want to be a teacher? What lights me up? As I talked with my colleagues, I began to realize I especially enjoyed teaching students who had problems. Some didn't perceive pitch well. Big problem for a string player, right? Or some had serious rhythm problems or big gaps in their technique. Developing a strategy to fill in the gaps was engaging for me. I also had many who didn't practice regularly. I was honest with them about my own struggle in this area. And I like to tell my students, if there was a way to get better without practicing, I would have found it. It does not exist. So I would tell them, which is what I just said.
Yeah.
I had finally found out my why. I wanted to teach because I wanted to help students overcome obstacles and succeed. They learn to practice better and do things they couldn't do before. More than 3 decades later, it still makes my day to see a student finally understand how to count a dotted quarter note, or how to shift with a smooth motion, or how to develop the beginnings of a good vibrato. They understand how to move their fingers to match the symbols on the page, and how to make musical choices with an understanding of the style of the period. While I enjoy performing both as a violist and as a pianist, I am most blessed to be a teacher. My life is so much richer because of my students and their families. They have brought me so much joy, and they are the reason why I continue to teach today. I've come a long way from that 20-year-old who was not going to teach. Indeed, I've captured the lead through teaching.
Now, Mark, you just ruined it. Now no one has to buy the book.
Well, they still have to figure out how I got there.
Okay, that's good.
Which is an interesting journey.
Thank you, Mark. Let's go over to Raymond.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ray. I live in Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. That's just near Calgary, if anybody knows where that is. And I just want to, I'm kind of echoing a few people that have already spoken about the honor and like kind of shock a little bit that, wow, my chapter got accepted. Holy smokes. So I'm just thrilled that the fact that that's a thing for me now, and that that I get to be a part of this series. And I guess why, boy, oh boy. This was a sobering experience to write my chapter, because as probably many people who have written in here and also many who will read it understand how busy life can be as a teacher. And so for me, this was a good opportunity for me to slow down and to just really ask myself, why am I doing all of this? Mm-hmm. And I had maybe had moments where I'll do that, and I'll maybe discover a little inkling of, okay, this is why I'm doing this. But this really forced me to get down to the bare bones of what's really my motivation. And it really comes down to one word for me, and that's joy. I have started a family in the last few years. Many of you are maybe nearing the end of your teaching careers, and I'm at the very beginning. So you're getting all the perspectives in this book. And so as a husband and a father and a music teacher, I'm trying to find my way in the music world. And sometimes it's not easy, but as has already been said, you can do it. If you really put your mind to it, you can. And I hope that my story helps somebody who's maybe struggling with that somewhere in the world. So that's me. I hope you enjoy the book.
Oh, thank you, Raymond. Thank you so much. Miss Shirley.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shirley Wang. I'm so excited to be part of the Power of Why series, particularly this one, Why 27 Musicians Capture the Lead. I was born and raised in Taipei, Taiwan, and I currently live in Los Angeles, California. My chapter is With a Voice as Big as the Sea. The first time I was on stage, I was 3 years old, and I never perceived the fact that I was in the spotlight, but I knew I had a job to do, and the job was to be done publicly. And so I had to do the best I could and then some. And I had to make sure I was delivering a message that could be understood and experienced by my audience members, both children and adults. And they needed to have an experience with it. They need to be touched. They need to have an emotional response. And that has continued and still continues to be why I stay on stage. I have a podcast, and I have also been teaching as well as performing. But in my bones, I'm a performer, and the stage is my home. And that is why I capture the lead.
Thank you so much. And Shirley is an opera singer. Yes, she is. And amazing, if I might add.
Thank you.
Svetna.
Hello, everyone. Myself, Shweta, I'm from India. So first of all, thank you, Mrs. Glory, for this wonderful opportunity. And I'm so honored to be a part among all talented musicians and editors. So coming to me, my journey all started when I was at age 8. So I was scared by the sound of the thunder, right? So my parents made me to join in the piano class so that I can experience different sounds and keys. But unfortunately, I couldn't find the perfect mentor for me. I was just going to the class regularly, sat there ideally, doing nothing for whole 2 years. And that hungerness, that eagerness to learn music finally made me to land up in good hands. And from age 10, my perfect journey for music has started. And whenever I go, I just go outside, I just experience different sounds, like the noise that I make and the sound that I hear is all made up of music. And I internally feel music is everywhere, every time, and music is the magic of universe, and we just live with it. One funny incident that happens to me is whenever I want to perform a particular piece in the stage, before getting my turn, I just used to practice the piece in air, assuming there's a piano in front of me. And people, around me just make fun of me like it's scary. And music is the greatest therapy that one can have. And when I spend time with music, I really feel happy and relaxed. And most importantly, that makes others happy. That makes me happy. And that's my vibe.
Thank you so much. And her chapter is about thunder rain. And so I'm not going to say anything else because you'll have to read it, but it was a wonderful chapter. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And Ramy.
Hello, my name is Ramy. My name is Ramy Boniv, an Israeli-American concert pianist, composer, author, teacher. capturing the lead may have been a difficult term for me, like I understood from other foreigners somehow. But I tried to understand it, and I don't know if I did capture the lead or not, but I can tell you one thing: music certainly captured the lead in my life. And writing this book was a great satisfaction, accomplishment, elation. It actually gave me a feeling that I'm writing the Reader's Digest of my autobiography, Blood, Sweat, and Tours, notes from the diary of a concert pianist. And I don't have much to say. I think I told a lot in my chapter, but I'll just tell you that one of my adult students and friends wrote to me after reading my book saying, you did pretty well for the first 75 years of your career.
Thank you so much. Yes. Well, one of the things that I think is just incredible is just the emotional journey of going through the power of why. My chapter was a reflection too of when, why did I go through the journey? I started off as a young, music teacher at the age of 16, and it landed up doing many more things. I think even as we hear people say, I'm a composer, I'm an author, I'm doing this and this, and I think that's the creativity of music. I landed up being a music producer and taking my husband, Ray St. Germain. He's a Canadian Country Music Hall of Fame. His story is also in the book, and landed up taking the tour over to Israel and Germany and Cyprus. And for me, that was way outside my comfort zone. But sometimes when we just go for it and the answer comes back as yes, there was a no along the way, but we persevere and we keep going. And, and then we celebrate that. And I think today we need to celebrate our success in everything that we do in our life, with our friends and our family, and certainly in the stories that we're brave enough to tell and share. And I'm very proud of all of you international best-selling authors. And thank you for contributing your chapters into the power of why. As I looked up, I'll share my screen. The Power of Why, 27 musicians captured the lead. We are still #1 out there. So yay, international best-selling authors. The other musicians that are in the book are Joanne Barker, Suzanne Grier, Heather Revell, Pam Turner, Mike Reno from Loverboy, Benny Nig, Mark Fanschmidt, Rachel Dunn, Janet Olson, Tulane, Akia Bonneau, Sherry St. Germain, Ramy Boniv, Francis Balotis, Laurent Koba, I probably didn't pronounce it right, sorry, Ray St. Germain, Svetna Salaps, Catherine St. Germain, Shirley Wang, Eddie Panche, Julianne Workington, Elise Korn, Bridget Mapp, Elizabeth Garland, Raymond Ross, Leanna Minnick, Caroline Joy Quinn, and of course, yours truly, Glory St. Germain. So if you don't have the book yet, you definitely want to go and grab it. Proud to share our stories in the power of why. So I want to say thank you everyone for joining me today, and go get your copy and be moved, emotional, and take your passion and run with it. Whether you're a musician or, in the creative arts, just enjoy the stories. And don't forget to reach out to the authors. There is contact information for every single author in their chapter. So enjoy the book. Thank you everyone for joining us. Bye now.